and welcome to the most interactive podcast you've ever been a part of. I'm Trevor, this is Juan, and you're listening to the Sports Dynasty Podcast. How's it going, guys? I hope everything's going well. Hope you guys enjoyed your weekend. I did. So everything's good. Today we're going to be continuing our third episode of the 2020 NFL guide for the season. And we're going to, talk about the NFC North. Yes, Packer fans, Bear fans, Lion fans, Viking fans. This one is for you. We're going to discuss everything going on in the division for the offseason. Before we do that, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. We're on iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, iHeartradio, Google Play Radio, Stitcher Radio, at Podcast Dynasty on Twitter. We're on Facebook, damn it. We are on the Sports Dynasty Podcast group. It's pretty popping over there. A lot of conversations going on, a lot of topics going up there. So check us out there. We're on Instagram as well. Sports Dynasty Podcast on Instagram. Always be notified. And remember, guys, this is your podcast. If you want to come on and voice your opinions and voice your anything going on with any sport, any team, we got you. We're right here for you. So that being said,
rate,
yes, most importantly, rate. Rate on iTunes so we can get up there and be elite like the other ones. Like the other ones over there, but better. But we got to start somewhere though. So, anyhow, with that being said, let's get the show on the road.
Okay. I'm going to assume you guys already know the 3 criteria we go by for every team. I'll put it in the screen somewhere. Alright, so I don't have my paper script today. I did this today. I finished it, so I couldn't print out I like having a script. I gotta do the phone and be very unprofessional. My bad. Let's just begin, shall we? The Detroit Lions.
Okay.
So let's just go with the loss. This shouldn't take very long, to be 100% honest. Alright, so they lost their linebacker Devon Kennard, who has a 69.1 grade in Pro Football Focus. Their guard Graham Glasgow with a 74.1 Pro Football Focus grade, and their offensive tackle Ricky Wagner with a 59 Pro Football Focus grade. And they traded Darius Slay to the Eagles. If you look at the Philadelphia and NFC East one, his grade there. And they traded for safety Duron Harmon. Yeah, I think I have his grade in the last episodes too. So go, you want to know the grades, you want to know the information, go to the other episodes. Alright, he came from New England. They signed Danny Shelton. His grade should be in the last episode too. And Jamie Collins, whose grade should be in the last episode too. They got a lot of Patriots here. They also signed Desmond Trufant, cornerback from Atlanta, who has a 70.2 Pro Football Focus grade. And I don't know if I should try to pronounce this guy's name. He's a guard from Philadelphia, Vitae. His first name is Halapola Vati, something like that.
Vitae.
Yeah, that guy. A 74.4 grade. All PFF. Who came from a very, very good offensive line, actually, in the Philadelphia Eagles. So he might actually do something for this team. Then they drafted the obvious, the third overall pick, Jeffrey Okudah.
Yes.
From the Ohio State. Why do they call it the Ohio State?
That's because apparently they're the best team in the country. They try to make it seem like it is a very prolific and prestigious football school, but they want to feel extra and stuff like that.
But there's only one Ohio State school, is there? So
I
why
know,
is it the?
It doesn't make
say Ohio State
because they're the best team in Ohio, possibly one of the top best teams in the sport. So why not? Oh, I'm sorry.
The Dolphin comes in.
Yeah. So I don't know. To me, it's like, and they beat up Michigan every year, so why not?
You see why I'm talking about this? That's how you know there's not much to talk about when it comes to Detroit. But they got Jeffrey Okudah. At 82.8 grade. Then they drafted running back DeAndre Swift out of Georgia with 80 overall grade.
It was a pretty good pick.
And linebacker Julian Akwara out of Notre Dame, Fighting Irish. Yes, I know their names. I'm learning. 79.2 PFF grade. Guard Jonah Jackson out of the Ohio State University at 78.5. And another guard, Logan Stenberg out of Kentucky, with a 75.3 PFF grade. So as you can see, they loaded up on some offensive linemen this entire offseason. So they kind of trying to make their, I guess, weak point from their offense much stronger. But they gained a lot more than they lost. But they did spend a lot of 1-year deals and all that. So, but they really did invest on the offensive line, try to keep Stafford upright because, as you know, he missed like half the season last year. And they would love to get a running game going since they haven't had one since 1997. With Barry Sanders. So they would like to have that. Plus, they did replace Darius Slay with Desmond Trufant, so hopefully have a nice 1-2 punch with Jeffrey Okudah at the other side. And with the signing of Jamie Conner, trying to get a little more athletic on defense because God knows they were slow as a mofo and couldn't cover anything because they're too damn slow. So the tracks of success. So before anything, the one thing that has to happen, and this is going to be a theme for at least half of this division, is that they have to buy into the, I almost slipped into being disrespectful, they have to buy into Matt Patricia, their head coach. If they don't buy into Matt Patricia, which was to me their biggest problem, especially on defense from last year, they're not going to do jack squat. So they need to do that. And in order for that to happen, Matt Patricia needs to figure out a way to get his players to buy him. Like him using the Belichick and Patriot meme is not enough because who the heck are you to begin with? Is what a lot of the players I'm sure are thinking. Like Belichick is the Patriots guy. You were just an underling. Why do I have to listen to you when he was the mastermind behind everything? So that's what he has to figure out to get into his players' heads, that he is worth it. And listening to him is worth it. Because I really don't see any respect on that football field when it comes to him at all, to be 100% honest. T.J. Hawkinson needs to make a big jump. So I understand he was hurt for most of it, and Stafford was out for most of the year. But he still wasn't very good outside of like 1 week, the first one. So he needs to make that big jump. He was drafted, 10th, 9th, something like that overall, forgot. Somewhere. I'm pretty sure he was top 10 drafted in the 2019 draft. So he needs to start playing like a top 10 pick. Like I said, for the third time, they got a lot of guards to come into the offensive line. So at least one of them got to show up. On one of them, they hit well. And they can do a lot of good things. The defensive secondary needs to play as good as they are advertised. We get to see if Deron Harmon actually is a true deep safety because he was just like the closer in New England. He just was... I don't want to go as far as say a role player, but he was close to that. Like a little more, but it was close to a role player. McCourty was the guy. So we'll see if he can be the guy being in the backfield, defending the deep passes. And if the defensive front could stop running 4-8s and actually run 4-6s and up, maybe they'll actually cover things in the middle of the field. And they can do stuff. They can actually cover the pass. Because their defense was made to be a running team when you're not in a running league anymore. So why is your defense outdated? So if you were to be more athletic and be able to defend the running backs and the tight ends, especially in your division, you got to deal with people like Terry Cohen and Jamal Williams. You know what I'm saying? Dalvin Cook can catch out, like stuff like that. You were too slow to defend stuff like that. With a more athletic defensive front, you'd be able to go ahead and cover those backs and stuff like that. So that's basically what they need to do.
Also, another thing I have to worry about for the Lions is they do have pretty good offense if healthy. Like I really do like the pairing of Marvin Jones. Marvin Jones had a pretty monster game against Dallas. 4 touchdown catches by himself. I believe he had 4 touchdown passes by himself. He went ballistic. I think it was against Dallas. Yeah, him and Kenny Galladay on the other side. Pretty decent. But T.J. Hawkinson, in the middle is tight end. And then try to get DeAndre Swift, run the running game, getting a lot better, and try to fix the offensive line for the most part. But if they can stay healthy, they can be very competitive. I mean, I think this division will pretty much come down to the wire. I think that a lot of those teams weakened about the division, so I think that they can stay competitive if they can remain healthy. And I personally think that I think Juan will agree. This is pretty much Matt Patricia's last year. If they can't buy into his system, I think he's done. I think they cut loose with him because it's like, you're not going to get any better than he is right now. But
and hopefully they keep him on the wing.
Yeah.
Do not come back.
So me personally, there's room for improvement. You just have to stay healthy. That's all.
Yep. So predictions. They are not going to buy into him. He's gone. 5-11.
I agree.
5-11 is my prediction.
Yeah, about 6-10, 5-11. I think they'll struggle against a lot of the close teams. They have. I think I have the schedule in front of me. A lot of games against really, really bad teams, they'll end up costing themselves for something dumb, or it's just the Lions. Honestly, you can't really expect much from them. But Matt Patricia is pretty much holding them back, and they need to find an identity as a culture itself. They're to me they're too much New England Central. That you have to find their own identity. Miami found their identity, with Brian Flores in the helm, who's another Patriot assistant. Matt Patricia, need to find out what stands out for you and why people want to respect you. Because if you're gonna be a Belichick, I can just go to New England and want to be coached by Belichick. You're just not identifying yourself. So we'll see. But this is gold for him.
Yep, and their off-season grade for me, I forgot to say, was a C+. It actually was a decent pickup for me. Okay, I usually have reasons and stuff as to why they're gonna win games. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I don't ever lie to you guys. You guys know that. I did this so quick this afternoon during my break at work. I've been so dang busy. I just went through the games and picked them. I usually have reasons as to why. This week I don't have it. Sorry. Forgive me. All right. Chicago Bears.
I want to lead on this one. I think I'm going to lead on this one. I got this one. Chicago Bears.
Slouch.
Okay. So for the Chicago Bears, obviously have new key arrivals. Nick Foles was traded from Jacksonville. He's now there. Ted Ginn Jr. Jimmy Graham, Robert Quinn, Barcavius Mingo, Artie Burns, Tyshawn Gibson, and there's a guard who I want to mess up his name though. Jermaine
Ifedi.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Jermaine Ifedi from Seattle.
Yeah, I don't want to mess up his name and everything. But
it's okay. He sucks anyway.
Anyway, so they did a pretty good job pairing Robert Quinn with Philip Mack to bolster their defense and this line, which is great. Artie Burns, was never really a big fan of him anyway, but
he's trash. He's from Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
you gotta know he's trash.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of him anyway. So
I believe he's a massive bust. I want to say he was in the teens, drafted in 2015 or 16. I forgot.
I think he was in the mid teens. I think it was 2016, I believe.
2016, probably. 16? He's a bust. He's trash.
Yeah, horrible. It was really bad.
Like his last name fits what type of corner he is.
It was bad, but I don't see how that helps them on the secondary. I don't know how that helps them, but I guess what we're going to do. The key departures, they lost Chase Daniel, Taylor Gabriel, Trey Burton, Kyle Long, Nick Williams, Leonard Floyd, Aaron Lynch, Nick Kwiatkowski, and Kevin Pierre-Louis.
Chase Daniel, he's in Detroit.
No, Chase Daniel, I think he's in Denver. Is he in Denver again?
I don't know. I don't remember.
I'm not too sure.
Let's find out.
Yeah, Chase Daniel got a backup contract. I know it's a contract.
That's game pay way more than Cam Newton.
Yeah, listen, that's really terrible. But Anyway, so while he's waiting now, we can talk about the draft picks. That I'm not gonna name all. I
know the first thing that came up in Google when I put Chase Daniel was his contract. Hilarious.
Oh.
Yeah, he's back with Detroit. I was right.
Oh, Detroit. Okay, cool. So. They drafted Cole Kmet from Notre Dame, tight end. So that's 7-8 tight ends on their roster already.
69.4 grade in PFF.
Okay, good. They also drafted Jalen Johnson from Utah as a cornerback in the second round.
83.8 grade in PFF.
Okay, and Travis Gibson from Tulsa, out of linebacker from round 5.
87.8 grade PFF.
Okay, so right now. So
why are you sounding like it's a game show?
It's just the way it's coming off right now. I'm just trying to get everything in order, but pretty decent draft pick. I'm not gonna say all of them because I'm not trying to.
When do I? I never do.
Yeah, never trying to do all that. But anyway, me personally, you have 7 different tight ends on your squad. I don't see the need to grab another one. But then again, it's Chicago Bears. Front office is so weird.
Ryan Pace sucks. I'm sorry.
It is dumb. And I don't know. And we talked about this earlier, but I think you mentioned Matt Nagy, and they were saying that.
It's the theme. I said half of the division has a coaching theme going on.
Yeah.
He might be in the hot seat as well.
I think you're right. Because it's what are you doing? And then, we're gonna continue.
After
that. But for me personally, my analysis was going on about for the Chicago Bears is the Bears are finally realizing that Mr. Trubisky is a bum.
Funny, we knew that since they got drafted.
We knew that since day one. Me personally, I feel there were a lot better names on the quarterback market that you could have signed that would have been much better than Nick Foles. Me personally, I think Nick Foles is only good in Philadelphia. We've seen it over the years. He was in St. Louis. He couldn't get it going. When he was in Kansas City, it's the backup, couldn't get it going over there with Andy Reid. Even he was in Andy Reid in Philadelphia. Went back to Philadelphia, got hot, won a Super Bowl, got paid. Jacksonville played like 1 or 2 games. One game got hurt.
Right, he played well with Doug Peterson and then Chip Kelly.
Yeah,
but not Andy Reid.
Which I don't get it. But you know, he hasn't really established himself as a QB that can lead a franchise. You know, by himself. He's the backup in Philadelphia and part of a system that fit him. And we noticed that when he's out of Philadelphia, he struggles. I don't see why you would trade with him and take that big contract he got in Jacksonville anyway. To me, it doesn't make any sense. Yes, we know that Mr. Trubisky is trash. We knew this since he got drafted. He was not good. And now you realize that, hey, whatever, this is it. I think it's going to be entire front office roster changing this year. I think if they don't do well, they'll be like, oh, he only went 12 for like 2 years ago. Yeah, but the double doink.
Khalil Mack and the defense went 12 for.
Yes.
Years ago, not him.
Yeah, and a double doink pretty much knocked you out of the postseason, which you should have beaten Philadelphia in that playoff game. But that's neither here nor there. I think that Matt Nagy, that magical run he had a few years ago, started to catch up to him. Like a lot of young coaches in the league who are being figured out, and they're not as savvy or brilliant as you think they are. I think Matt Nagy is realizing that right now, and I think that another bad season in Chicago will pretty much. I think he's done. I think general manager has to do it. Has to be replaced and everything. This changed everything over right now.
Yeah, it really does.
Because Cam Newton was available. I think Cam Newton would have been perfect.
I agree.
In this system.
Nagy would have fallen in love with him.
Absolutely. Instantly. And would have instantly made Chicago Super Bowl contenders.
I won't go that far.
I'm gonna say that with that defense,
they would challenge Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay.
I agree.
No question.
I agree. They'll make them at least one of the premier teams in the NFC.
Yeah,
definitely a playoff team who can strike people, even go into Lambeau and beat them in a playoff game if they wanted to. Which we'll see. But
yeah.
I mean, so
thanks, Pace. Stupid.
Dumb. But anyway, yeah, that's my take on the Chicago Bears. So now you can add on to whatever you want to add on to.
All right, so I guess more track for success. So like I said, Matt Nagy has to show what he's made of. You got hired, so let's see why you got hired. Simple as that. I understand that you were given utter, feces as a quarterback, but at the end of the day, you hired as an offensive mind. You got a quarterback who can at least throw downfield. We'll see what you got. This is that simple. Nick Foles has to start immediately, no matter what. If Trubisky starts games, you're going to lose. It's just that simple. The offensive line is actually pretty trash, and that needs to go up. It's just that simple too. The defense obviously has to be the lead dog, and it has to be the lead dog more than ever. And Khalil Mack has to play like Khalil Mack and not what he played like last year. He was a ghost of himself. He was not very good last year at all. PFF has him like an 83 or something like that grade. Still, you weren't that good. It's just that simple. You're supposed to be like 90 grade. You're Khalil Mack. And a receiver that can play football that's not named Allen Robinson would be nice. Then again, Trubisky's quarterbacks, we can never figure that out. But if he would stop playing and let Nick Foles play, then maybe we can figure out there's a receiver worth paying in that team that's not named Allen Robinson. Ryan Pace is bad. In the 2017 draft, we do know Mahomes is the best player in football now. Yes, we know that now.
Yes.
But in 2017, he was not the best prospect that year. It was actually Deshaun Watson. The Bears were the second overall pick. So everyone that's not named, I believe Myles Garrett was number one overall pick, right? I believe it was Myles Garrett.
That was 2018.
2018? Who the hell was first pick?
2017? No, Myles Garrett was 2018, I believe.
No, that's Baker Mayfield. No, it's not. Yes, it is. No, yes, it is Baker Mayfield.
Yeah,
it's Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett is number one pick in 2017. Everybody else was available outside of him. So you have Mahomes, who was I guess he was considered at the time a hit or miss. And believe it or not, and then you had Deshaun Watson, who was in Clemson kicking all types of butt and won a national championship. So he was the safest pick by far in the draft outside of Myles Garrett. But you pick some dude from, I believe he came from a basketball school. I forgot what school he came from. I don't even know. Who only started one season, and I want to say he wasn't very good. So just from that alone, he shouldn't have fired after 2018. To me, I don't care, because Trubisky was a decent reason as to why they didn't beat the Philadelphia Eagles in that playoff game, because he couldn't, move the ball. So he's the reason why this team is the way it is. And in 2018, they had a Super Bowl contending roster in 2018. Look how fast things just turn around. 2020. That defense got cut up in half. They're not anywhere near as good as they were, and they lost more pieces, and they're not going to be as good as they were. It's that simple. So you lost that. Starting with losing, I believe they have Vic Fangio, right, as their defensive coordinator in 2018.
And he went
to Denver. And now you saw the difference last year. Even though it was a good defense, but it wasn't that defense in 2018. And now you lost more pieces. Now look what you have to work with because of that GM. That guy has to go. It has to go immediately. But I don't know what this is. The Chicago Bears we're talking about. This is the team that's a little better than the trash franchise, but always teases and then fails to deliver. That's the level that they are. They're not like Cleveland and Ohio, period, and teams like that. But they're not like the teams who are mediocre like Dallas. That's a mediocre franchise right now. They're a little lower than Dallas Cowboys. Mind you, they made the Super Bowl in 2006 in Chicago, and a championship game in 2010. But they've been so utter dog crap in between that. And afterwards, at least Dallas has consistently been 8-8 range. So at least they're a better franchise just because of that alone. So I don't know what the Chicago franchise is gonna do about this. I don't know what's gonna happen, but that guy needs to go. And I feel bad for Matt Nagy, but at the end of the day,
it is what it is.
It is what it is. Yeah, it is what it is. My prediction for them is gonna be actually 9-7. They can still win 9 games with this team, but this, of course, is assuming Nick Foles is quarterback by week 3. So, if he's quarterback by then, I think they can win 9 games because they're going to lose the first 2 because Trubisky is just the scum of the earth when it comes to football. So, that's my prediction for them at 9-7. Whether they make it playoffs or not, I don't know. We got to finish the rest of our predictions to find out. You find out September. But that's what I have for them at 9-7.
Okay.
Which is, I think they were 8-8 last year, So, 1 game up.
Yeah, so who's better than nothing?
Yeah, I guess.
The Minnesota Vikings.
Yep, Minnesota Vikings. Oh, and their offseason grade for the Chicago Bears was D-. They didn't do a damn thing. Yeah.
The Minnesota Vikings, who had the number 6 seed last year, 10-6, pretty much do what they do. I think they won a playoff game last year, right?
Yeah, they beat the Saints. It was hilarious.
Yeah,
I can't wait to get to the Saints 2 weeks.
Yet again. And
Yet again.
Just to get their asses kicked by the 49ers, which
everybody did. That's not my
honestly speaking, you have to blame the Seattle Seahawks for the reason for that happening, because the Vikings wouldn't have had to play them as early as they would have anyway. Had whatever, that's a whole different story. Yeah, stupid Pete Carroll. Anyway, so the key arrivals, Tajay Sharp, wide receiver, came in after obviously because the elephant in the room.
He's known for catching a beautiful touchdown pass against your beautiful Baltimore Ravens in the playoff game. What's great? I have his grade somewhere. Maybe it'll pop up later. Yeah, continue.
We have Anthony Zettel, the defensive end, and nose tackle Michael Pierce, who are now the
72.3 gauge for Tajay Sharp.
Okay, cool. And obviously, the key to part is obviously the.
And you said Michael Pierce, right?
Yes.
Even though apparently we got word he's not gonna play, that sucks. 69.1 grade for Mike Pierce.
Okay. So obviously the key to part is obviously the elephant in the room is Stephon Diggs. Was traded pretty much strong arm his way out of Minnesota.
Watched last week's one's grade is in the Buffalo.
Yes. He's gone. Guard, Josh Klein is gone. Linval Joseph, the defensive tackle is gone.
71.2 grade with PFF.
Xavier Woods, the cornerback, is gone.
I'm not gonna say it's okay, it's embarrassing.
On the other side, Mackenzie Alexander is gone, and Trey Waynes is gone.
60, both of them basically 65 grade.
And the safety, J-Ron Kurtz. But they did, do some pretty good things, in my opinion, in the first round of the draft. They drafted Justin Jefferson from LSU, wide receiver.
85.4 grade with PFF.
To replace Stephon Diggs, potentially. Jeff Gladney from TCU, the cornerback, to replace, pretty much Xavier Woods, which I think was a pretty good pickup.
71.7 grade PFF.
They have Ezra Cleveland from Boise State, what I like a lot, honestly. The boy can tackle. The boy can block really well, especially for that Boise State team a year ago. They're pretty good. Playing the Mountain West, but still, he's pretty good.
82.5 grade PFF.
And Cameron Dantzler from Mississippi State, the cornerback. So they're pretty much trying to rebuild the secondary.
83.5 grade PFF.
Okay, no problem.
Stop doing that.
Anyway, the point is, so they pretty much addressed a lot of needs they lost in the off season. So I think they're not going to be as good as they were last year. I don't think they'll repeat the success from last year. They're pretty much like semi-reconstruction mode, pretty much.
I say retooling.
Yeah. I wouldn't say they're rebuilding. It's more like they're trying to keep pace in a very, very weak NFC North division. I think everyone's pretty much level the playing field. It just gonna come down to who wants the division more. I like Mike Zimmer. I like him a lot as a coach.
Me too.
I think they did pretty good there. Pretty much just trying to gel. And also, we have to make sure that this guy, Adam Thielen, is back healthy because he missed most of the year last year. But Adam Thielen's still there. Hopefully he's 100%. He's able to, help on the other side with Justin Jefferson on the other side. They're still a prolific offense. They can move the ball, especially Dalvin Cook. I think they fix the offensive line. Dalvin Cook can do what he has to do. Like I said, I think they're 9-17 too. I think that the division is so wide openly even that they'll be competitive. They'll be competitive, especially amongst each other. So, Vikings 9-7. So you're ready.
I also think Irv Smith, the second string tight end, he should step up a little bit too. I think Mike Zimmer really wants an old school-ish type offense, and having a 2 tight end set will pretty much do that for him. Besides his offensive line having to get better, they did very well last year when it comes to run blocking, as you saw Dalvin Cook just destroying most people. If Irv Smith could really step it up, especially, it's more also as a blocker, but if his receiving skills really go up, they might be actually pretty dangerous, looking like probably close to the 2010 New England Patriots offense, which was damn near unstoppable for most of the year because of that 2 tight end set. If he could really step up, there'll be a massive issue against them. I'd say about a 9-7 to 10-6. I haven't close. I think 10-6 is what I wrote. They still, even though their defense is more question marks than there is, they're not gonna be as good because we got a lot of young guys stuff replacing other people. So we really don't know per se, especially rookie wise. We don't know how they're gonna perform. And Mike Zimmer is a beautiful defensive coach. So if anyone can coach them into being great, it's him. So I would usually lean towards a positive note for the defense when it comes to Mike Zimmer. So if that happens, a 10-6 record and basically repeating what they did last year, maybe even literally repeating getting a playoff win or even 2, depending who they match up with. Remember, there's 7 teams now. They'll see how that goes on together. So I think they'll be close or the same as they were last year. I don't think they'll be better though.
Agree.
Yeah. And now the Green Bay Packers. Oh wait, their offseason grade. I forget this every episode, right, guys? C, I gave Minnesota Vikings for the offseason grade. Not good, not great either. Not good, not bad.
Okay, no problem. And finally, the
Green Bay Packers.
The NFC North defending champions.
For the upteenth time, yeah.
The Green Bay Packers. Obviously, we have a guest who's a Packer fan later, so we'll discuss that.
Yeah, it'll pop up probably before we started speaking. Or after. I don't know where I put it. I might surprise you. I don't know what I'm going to do editing. We'll see what I feel like doing tomorrow.
Anyway, so the key arrivals for the Green Bay Packers, they obviously, before we did that, they were in the Super Bowl. They were in the one game away from the Super Bowl. Yeah, one game away from the Super Bowl, and they were completely annihilated by Raheem Mostert. just pretty much ran down their throats. Bad. And another disappointing playoff loss for Aaron Rodgers. So what did they do to ante up and try to retool and be back in the conference championship next year? Not much, honestly. the key departure, they lost Geronimo Allison.
Not key departure.
I'm just going by it. Yeah. They lost Jimmy Graham. What was left of him?
Again, another not.
Brian Bulaga and Blake Martinez, the big losses on defense, are gone. BJ Goodson and Tremont Williams are gone as well. But the key arrivals, they gotten Devin Funchess.
Well, you guys will find out in the interview. Continue, yeah.
Ricky Wagner, the offensive tackle, and linebacker Christian Kirksey. I believe he was in Cleveland last year.
Yeah, he was, but he was injured, so we have no idea if he's good or not. He was good, though. And I don't know if I said Ricky Wagner's grade, but he had a 59 grade, so that's a little scary. That is not the 77 grade that Bulaga got.
Some of the best draft picks for the Packers, obviously. I don't want to say best, but we're going to say the more notable.
That's a much better
The more notable draft picks. They drafted Jordan Love. They traded up to get Jordan Love in the first round, which to me, I will never understand what they were thinking, what in their mind thought that was okay, but that's neither here nor there.
75.3 grade in PFF.
They also drafted running back A.J. Dillon from Boston College.
Couldn't find his grade. Interesting.
And they have Josiah Dugara from Cincinnati, a tight end.
70.2 grade PFF.
And me personally, I think, like I said, this year they obviously lost a lot of talent on both sides of the ball. But this is going to be I guess you could say test for Aaron Rodgers now, because I feel Aaron Rodgers is listen, a lot of people already writing him off already, saying he's washed, blah blah blah, and the fact that they traded up to draft his successor, which is laughable to say the least. But
that's messed up.
It's laughable. It is. It's being real. I think they needed. I think A.J. Dillon is a fine pickup. I think that they need to establish a running game due to the lack of a receiver they have there.
So breaking news. It's not really that important. Joey Bosa just got a 5-year extension, and it is a $135 million contract, and it's 102 guaranteed for the Chargers, which is, I guess, was making paid the most expensive defensive player in the NFL. 102. So then what the heck are quarterbacks going to be making in a year? Like 350?
Probably so.
102 for a lineman? Wow. Not bad.
Sorry about that. So, they addressed, some offensive pieces, but they did not address any of the offensive line. They had troubles on the offensive line. Pretty bad. There was a lot of receivers in this draft you could have drafted to go along with Devontae Adams, but you chose Jordan Love in the first round. I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of good linebackers in this draft too, and you didn't think it was okay. You thought it was okay to not draft anything to help positions.
And that's why I disagree with the notion that it's a test for Aaron Rodgers. I think it's a test for LaFleur and the front office to see what in the heck are you trying to build instead of helping out your best player. What system are you trying to build that you're leaving out your best player? That's what we want to know. Because this personnel group is weird. So that's what I think the test is on the floor, more so than Rodgers. I'm defending him.
It's okay. Me personally, I believe, like I said before, in the other teams, this division is actually going to be probably the fourth best division record in the postseason. For postseason, it might be maybe like a 9-7, 10-6 can win this division. Obviously, I think the Packers to win this division. Obviously, I think the Packers will find a way to win this division. I don't have any faith in Chicago. Minnesota is just
Minnesota
shoots himself in the foot in the most opportune time.
Kirk Cousins
And the Lions, just the mean old Lions.
What's mean about them is the fact we gotta watch them.
True. So, like I said, I think it's the Packers division to
To lose, yeah.
To lose, but they not going to the NFC Championship game. Sorry, it's not happening. They'd be lucky to win their first playoff game if the first playoff game. What I think they might get bumped in the first round anyway. But if they happen to win the first game division round, that's it. No further than that. That's it.
I have them 11-5. I think they'll win it comfortably. Like they'll be one game up according to my standings on Minnesota, but it won't be like a race. Everybody will know by sometime in December Packers got it. They'll be alright. Like that's basically like last year, except they won in 13, they won 11 instead. Yeah, but they're not. We really need to know what LaFleur's planning in order to really know how the offense is gonna work. Because, in all honesty, I really fail to see why they couldn't try and get a new receiver for him, because I don't know what they see in like Scantling and then like they look trash to me. Lazard, it looks okay. Rodgers likes him, so maybe that's good, but I just don't know why they didn't do it. Like you don't get many chances to have a Super Bowl window. You kind of had one last year, and all you need to do was give up the receiving core, bring it up, and then you guys will be Super Bowl contenders. But now you don't have anything there. It's like teams are really trying to do this running thing now, and I don't know why. When the Super Bowl champions that just passed by are an aerial attack team, so I don't know why people are trying to go towards the run. The run lost the Super Bowl last year, not won it, lost. So I don't know what they're trying to do. I don't get it, but it is what it is. I don't know. But yeah, I think they're going 11-5. They're gonna win. Is Aaron Rodgers at the end of the day? Besides the 1 year in 2018 when him and the entire team was absolute garbage because him and McCarthy was ready to kill each other. They're gonna win their 11 and do stuff that they've done in the mid 2010s. That's basically what the Packers were in mid 2010s. 11, 12-win team and then get destroyed in the playoffs. That's what it sounds like to me here. So typical Rodgers stuff. Yeah, that's it.
All right, and that is our guide for the NFC North division for 2020.
So if I decide to put the interview, it will happen right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you back to our third episode of the guide to the NFL 2020 season. This time we're going to do the NFC North division, and we have a special guest, our friend, big time Packer fan, Taylor. How's it going, bud?
Doing great. Ready to talk some football. Hopefully we have a season, boys.
Hopefully, man, because everything going on right now in sports right now is, woo, yeah. We'll talk about it another time, though. But yeah, so the NFC North, take it away, buddy. What do you think about what's going to happen here?
Oh, well, just go team by team. I'm going to start with the Lions. I think they have some good pieces. I think Matt Stafford coming back is going to help. Realistically, I still think them as a 4 seed in the NFC North. I don't think that even with Matt Stafford being out last year, I think that they're going to have some problems regardless, even if he would have been healthy last season. So I don't know. I'm thinking this division's going to be a pretty intense fight to the end. I think they're going to go 8-8. Go Chicago. I mean, Trubisky, Foles. Does anybody know? I mean, I think they're going to go with Foles before this whole COVID thing went down because he's not going to get any practice time and not going to get in sync with any of the receivers. So I think they're going to be stuck with Mitch, unfortunately. So I'll say they're going to be 8-8. Vikings, I still think they're solid. I actually like the Stephon Diggs trade. I thought they got a lot of value for that. Justin Jefferson coming back. 9-7, 10-6. And Green Bay, I mean, I haven't been in love with their offseason, as we obviously said in the last podcast, but I think they're probably 10-6, probably 11 if I'm being really nice. But yeah, I think they're just a slight division favorite. So that's kind of how I feel as far as the division standings go.
So about Detroit, do you think this is the last time you see Matt Patricia as head coach?
I do. Just a couple of years. I mean, he hasn't made the playoffs, if I remember right, over the last. I think this is the third year. They're trying to be New England. Yeah, they're trying to be New England 2.0. it just hasn't worked out for him. But I like their pieces on offense. I think T.J. Hawkinson got in really good sync with Matt Stafford last year before they both got hurt. So I think they're going to be fine there. But defensively, I don't love this team. Offensive weapons, Marvin Jones, Kenny Galladay. Then you got Kerryon Johnson and drawing a blank on the first round or the back they
Yeah, they
drafted
did
last.
draft the first round, second round high. I forgot to say.
Yeah, yeah, and he's projected to be the starter, which kind of surprised me. So, yeah, if they go 8-8, especially if they go under 8-8, I do see this as Matt Patricia's final
DeAndre
year.
Swift. That's what
Yes.
DeAndre
Yeah.
Swift was probably the best running back of the draft, arguably. So yeah.
Very well. I hope it's A.J. Dillon, but it could be him.
Well, I might as well, right?
Ricky Williams 2.0, here we go.
So what about then Matt Nagy in Chicago? You think it'd be a little bit more leeway with him because he has made the playoffs already? He had a 12 win, I believe, season with them before, and Pace did kind of give him the biggest buzz, arguably, in the entire decade. So what do you think about Nagy?
That's good. That's a tough one because Pace, if this Mitch thing doesn't work out again this year, don't you think they're all going to be gone? Because Pace, he drafted Mitch ahead of Watson. Like, he's had a bad track record with quarterbacks, even going back to Mike Glennon a couple. I mean, I know they're in kind of tank mode at that time, but
about that too.
you draft Trubisky over Mahomes, Watson, trade up for him too. So, yeah, I think they could all very well be gone after that because I just don't know if the new GM's going to be all in on Matt Nagy. Just he's been okay. It's just has he done enough to go into a new regime? I don't know if many coaches are to begin with, but Matt Nagy, I just don't think he's had that track record to say, yeah.
Makes sense. Also about Minnesota. So outside of the offensive side of the ball, which I don't think will change that much, defensively, they had an entire secondary overall, at least in the cornerback position. And they don't have Everson Griffin anymore. So the other side of the defensive end, we don't know who's going to be playing in that. So how do you think the defense is supposed to be the identity of the Minnesota Vikings? How do you think that play into the season?
Well, Everson Griffin is a good guy to bring up because it's rumored that he's looking at Green Bay as a possibility joining as of today, from what I hear from Ian Rappaport. Okay. And he still may go back to Minnesota. And one other thing, Michael Pierce, he decided to opt out for this season, so he's not their big free agent D tackle. So he opted out, so he's gone. Which it's a little unfortunate because I think that's going to give them. I don't know the financials of it, how this is all going to work out. But assuming they'd be able to sign Everson Griffin back if they get money, I mean at least the money he's looking for. So that'd be huge for that defense, but. I mean, drafting 3 corners, I mean, it's just kind of wait and see. Obviously, Xavier Rhodes, for the better part of the last year and a half, was a disaster. So I don't think you can go much worse than that. But there's also rookie cornerbacks going against some pretty good, I mean, at least with Stafford, with his weapons that he's familiar with, and Aaron Rodgers, which I'm obviously not a fan of the receivers, but they're familiar weapons with him. So,
he
I mean,
still has one. He has the best receiver in the entire division. And then
I would say
even though he'll barely get the ball because their quarterback can't throw. But I mean, still Allen Robinson at the end of the day. So yeah, I agree. That is a big question mark in that team.
And Kendricks is going to be a beast again. They're going to be solid. I mean, it's still run by Mike Zimmer. I think the biggest question, and with this whole COVID thing, is are these new receivers coming in, these rookie receivers, are they going to get in sync with these quarterbacks that quick? So now I'm transitioning to Green Bay. Maybe it wasn't a bad move for Green. I mean, I'm just looking at it optimistic side. Maybe it wasn't a bad move, Green Bay not making many moves with the receiver and just going on with A.J. Dillon and just be a ground and pound team.
That's funny. Hindsight is 2020. Who knew? Who knew that trying to keep some type of continuity will actually give you the advantage over everybody else?
Yeah, 3 months ago I was ripping them. Yeah, that was the same guy that was ripping them. And now I'm just like, you know what? Maybe they knew what was going to go on. Maybe they knew that they're going to get any practice time, and Jordan Love can just sit back and learn the offense. So, yeah, I think that's going to be a struggle for Minnesota without Stephon Diggs. I thought he was the big crybaby. That's just my opinion, but.
I I don't blame him.
Yeah, Justin Jefferson learning the offense. They do have Rudolph back, Irv Smith, Thielen. We'll see how he comes back. He kind of had a down year last year. But if they pound it with Dalvin Cook and Alexander Madison, I think they're going to be just fine.
Sorry, the silence. All right, so let's revisit your off season then. Again, taking out the hindsight and the fact that you may not have to practice anything, so the receivers may be well better off. So let's recap a couple months ago about your off season. So how do you think you did? If you want to give it a letter grade, you give it a letter grade. Do you like acquisitions? Do you like the people that you've lost? Stuff like that. Just go on your off season. Go off.
Yeah, as you guys remember, I was not a fan of the draft, specifically the first couple picks. I thought they're going to be good players, but just position need, I thought it was just bad picks. But I've changed. I mean, like I just mentioned with the whole COVID thing, I've changed my stance a little bit. And I don't know if you guys just heard the news 2 hours ago. Devin Funchess, the one new receiver they brought in, which they had high hopes for, he's going to be not playing due to COVID this year as well. So that's a big bummer. So it's not over yet. Hopefully they can pull a move, get Everson Griffin, Mike Daniel, Snacks Harrison, or maybe, I don't know, maybe they can pull in Taylor Gabriel. If you're asking me right now and it's not over, and I'm hoping they get one more move, I'm going to say it's a C plus.
Okay.
I do like the Christian Kirksey addition in the middle. I'm an Iowa Hawkeye fan. I saw him play back in 2013, so I know a little bit. I know a little bit about him. Homer player for me. So yeah, I'd say C plus with a little. I mean, if they add one of those guys I just mentioned, maybe it could bump it up to B minus.
Okay. Okay. So then, what is your tracks for success? So to be at the highest point you think team could be in, what do you think needs to happen?
So I think the running game's going to be great this year. Aaron Jones had a phenomenal year, led the league in touchdowns last year. AJ Dillon, just looking at that guy's highlight, I wasn't a fan of picking him just because they have Aaron Jones already, and I just was kind of wondering how they're going to involve both guys. But that guy's a beast, so I think they're going to be pounding those guys consistently. So that's not going to be the problem. Offensive line's going to be fine. Defensively, uh, I think it is what it is. I mean, they're going to have some good days. They're going to have some bad days. So what this team comes down to is finding a good third receiver. Because I think obviously Devontae Adams is great. I think Alan Lazard already proved himself last year. Maybe he's not a number two. Maybe he's a low end two, a high three. But with if Equinania St. Brown, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Jay Sternberger, if one of those guys can just step up and be a very solid number three, I think that's going to go a long way, and maybe they can get a first round bye if one of those guys steps up big time. But with Devin Funchess out, yeah, right now I'm not overly optimistic, but I would say that's the key is if they can get another receiver or just anybody to catch balls from Aaron.
So without Bulaga, you still think the offensive line will be okay?
Yeah, I think it's going to go down a little bit. I don't think Rick Wagner is anywhere near as good. There's been talk that they're going to put Billy Turner from right guard to right tackle. I don't think it's going to be as good as last year. Bulaga's a heck of a player. He deserved the money. But we got David Bakhtiari on the left side. Elgin Jenkins at left guard. He was a beast his rookie year. I think they're going to be just fine. Maybe a small slip, but I'm not too concerned about it.
Okay. Well, I like that. No overreaction. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Your actual prediction. What do you think?
As of today, I'm going to go. Well, assuming there's a 16. Hopefully, there's a 16-game season. That's the only way I know how to analyze these things. I don't know. Yeah, so I'm going to say they go 10-6, win the division, get knocked out in the second round. Just a lack of receiver is going to hurt them a little bit. If Devontae Adams goes out for even 2 to 3 weeks, I'm just worried that Aaron's just going to sit back in the pocket and not find anybody. I'm confident the running game is going to get going by December. So as long as they, like I mentioned, a bunch here, if they find that third receiver, I think it could be 11-5 type of year and maybe a first round bye. So
Okay.
10-6.
10-5, 10-6. You've been quiet for the last 10 minutes. You have anything to say?
Yeah.
Hey, man, so Ellen said it. He did a really good job with this one, but other than that, it's not too far fetched. What do you think about?
All right.
It's far-fetched.
Very quiet in this one,
Nah, man. I'm saving it for the.
man. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, this division, there's not much to actually talk about. It's probably the quietest one out of them all, I can argue. Like, there's a decent amount of continuity in this division. Plus, the only thing to me that's big is the storyline. The storyline in Green Bay with the little quarterback thing that's going on in there.
Yeah.
Is Aaron gonna act out? Does he like the fact that they did this, that, and the third? They didn't get him about all this bull that we're gonna be hearing. We started hearing already throughout the season. Well, that's basically the MO of the division, to be honest.
He did. Yeah, he did an interview. Yeah, I think he's responded the right way. I mean, he said he wasn't thrilled about it, but he understands the business of football. So, I mean, he's not going to completely ignore. I mean, him and Brett Favre weren't on good terms early on. They were better by their third year, but no, Aaron Rodgers isn't going to completely stiff Jordan Love. I mean, he may not be buddy with him every day and teaching him every single thing, but yeah, he'll talk to him. He could call him the day after the draft. So yeah, I'm not. 3 years down the road, I might be a little more worried about that relationship when Green Bay has a decision to make. But right now, it's Aaron Rodgers' team. So
no question. They tried to pull the same bullcrap last year when he got LaFleur. Like, he's going to get on with LaFleur. He's going to get on with some of this young man. All that crap from last offseason. Like,
yeah,
come on, man.
Yeah, Rodgers and LaFleur kind of laughed at it, which. Yeah, when they drafted Jordan Love, I'm like, yeah, maybe they don't like each other so much, but we'll see. Time tells everything.
Yeah, exactly right. All right, man. Thank you very, very much for coming on the show for the second.
Absolutely.
Already, second time kicking ass on this, man. Thank you very much. So much knowledge coming from these people as of right now. The last 3 interviews we've done have been absolutely sensational to the point where I don't even know why I'm sitting here, to be 100% honest. They just outsmart me. I can't speak for myself, but they outsmart me way ahead. So I need more of these guys.
Yeah, man. Man, still have to go, man. Thanks, Taylor, man.
Appreciate you guys having me on. Thanks a lot.
No problem, bud. See you soon.
Thank you.
Yes. Before we listen to this interview, like, share, subscribe. We're on iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, iHeartradio, Google Play Radio, Stitcher Radio, at Podcast Dynasty on Twitter. We're on Facebook as well, as always. Sports Dynasty Podcast Facebook group. Check it out. We have a lot of things going on over there. Have your voice be heard there. And also, we're on Instagram. Sports Podcast Dynasty on Instagram. We're easy to find. Also, we're continuing on with this series next week. Like I said, if you are interested in being part of this series, hit myself or Juan up and we can make it happen. Like I said, this is your podcast. We try to be very, very interactive as possible, have your voice heard. You know what I'm saying? I think that everything going on right now, this is what we need, just to have something to talk about and to keep our mind off of certain things. So besides that, we appreciate everyone for supporting us and standing by us. Being the kick-ass fans that you are, man, you guys are awesome. We will continue this next week. So peace, love, and applesauce.